कुञ्जविहारी गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रजजानरञ्जनाय यशोदानन्दन व्रजजानरञ्जनाय यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय कृष्ण बलराम जय जय कृष्ण बलराम Jaya Lalita Vishakha Jaya Radhe Shyam. Lalita Vishakha Jaya Radhe Shyam. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading verse number 45, chapter 2, 2.45. Trai-guṇya-viṣayā vedā, nistrai-guṇyo bhavārjuna, nirdvandvo nitya-sattva-stho, niryoga-kṣema ātma-vān. 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 trai-guṇya-viṣayā vedā, nirvandvo-ātma-vān. trai-guṇya-viṣayā vedā, nirdvandvo nitya-sattva-stho, nirvandvo-ātma-vān. trai-guṇya-viṣayā vedā, bhavārjuna, nirdvandvo nitya-sattva-stho, niryoga-kṣema ātmavān. Word by word translation. Trai-guṇya, pertaining to the three modes of material nature. Viṣayā, on the subject matter. Veda, Vedic literatures. Nistrai-guṇya, transcendental to the three modes of material nature. Bhava, be. Arjuna, O Arjuna. Nirdvandva, without duality. Nitya-sattva-sthaḥ, in a pure state of spiritual existence. Niryoga-kṣema, free from ideas of gain and protection. Ātma-vān, established in the self. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. Purport. All material activities involve actions and reactions in the three modes of material nature. They are meant for fruitive results, which cause bondage in the material world. The Vedas deal mostly with fruitive activities to gradually elevate the general public from the field of sense gratification to a position on the transcendental plane. Arjuna, as a student and friend of Lord Krishna, is advised to raise himself to the transcendental position of Vedanta philosophy, wherein in the beginning there is Brahma Jigyasa or questions on the supreme transcendence. All the living entities who are in the material world are struggling very hard for existence. For them, the Lord, after creation of the material world, gave the Vedic wisdom advising how to live and get rid of the material entanglement. When the activities for sense gratification, namely the Karma Kanda chapter, are finished, then the chance for spiritual realization is offered in the form of the Upanishads, which are part of different Vedas, as the Bhagavad Gita is part of the fifth Veda, namely the Mahabharata. The Upanishads mark the beginning of transcendental life. As long as the material body exists, there are actions and reactions in the material modes. One has to learn tolerance in the face of dualities such as happiness and distress, or cold and warmth, and by tolerating such dualities, become free from anxieties regarding gain and loss. This transcendental position is achieved in full Krishna consciousness when one is fully dependent on the goodwill of Krishna. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalagaya Chakshorunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayan Dadanti Swapadantikam Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatta Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. So, the first 20 slokas or this whole chapter is what is the scene is Arjuna came. Why was the battlefield? Because Arjuna has to fight with the Kauravas, but Arjuna was not ready to fight. Everything was set, but for some reason Arjuna didn't want to fight. So when he saw the battlefield, what happened? So he said, "No, I cannot fight with my relatives." Right? So this is what it is. And what is Krishna telling to Arjuna? What is Krishna's advice to Arjuna? Is to fight. Krishna is actually making Arjuna ready for the fight, and he wants Arjuna to come out of the bodily platform. Because as soon as Arjuna saw his relatives, his kinsmen, his grandfathers, then he saw the Kauravas, his friends, relatives, so he was overwhelmed. So he was still in the bodily platform, and he was not ready to fight. And somehow Krishna was making him ready to fight the battlefield. So this 20 slokas, the first 20 slokas is basically dealing with the nature of the soul. It talks about the soul, different characteristics of the soul. So that was the whole idea. So basically to so that Arjuna can fight. That was the whole idea. Krishna is explaining what is the soul, what is body, what is the temporariness of this body, what is soul, how soul is permanent, which never changes. So many things are there, right? Dehino asminitadi. There are so many slokas, important slokas in this. And the whole idea was to make Arjuna ready to fight the battlefield, and so that he can come out of the bodily platform. So the thing is, if you see practically, if you see Arjuna, what is Arjuna trying to do here? Arjuna, let's compare Arjuna with a normal human being, right? Arjuna is also on that platform. Arjuna is actually not on that platform. He is Krishna's friend, but he's setting an example for us, how the worldly people are. So we, most of the time, when we want to do anything in life, we always think about profit and gain, right? If you want to do something which is going to give us some nice profit or some benefits, then we always want to do that. And things which are not going to give us any benefit or which is going to give us morose, we say, oh, we don't want to do it. So we are very calculative. We just don't do anything just because someone else has done. Even superficially, we may do it, but internally, if you see, we always try to gauge whether what we are doing is going to give us some happiness or whether is that going to give us some distress. Then based on our internal decision, or rather than we try to speculate, and then sometimes we don't want to really do it, but just because of sake for someone else we do it. But we seriously think about whether we want to do it or not do it. Same is Arjuna here. Arjuna, even though he was instructed by Krishna, what Krishna wanted here? Krishna wanted that Arjuna should fight. Doesn't matter what Arjuna is thinking, whether they are my relatives, and he doesn't want victory. Like he doesn't want victory, because he said that even if I get the victory, what is the use? Because all my relatives will be dead. How will I enjoy the kingdom? What is the point? Rather than Arjuna was ready to beg. He said that I don't want this kingdom. Rather than fighting, rather than seeing all this blood, it's better I beg and I live a simple life, but I don't want to fight. Because Arjuna was thinking, he was applying his brain, he was trying to think what is right, what is wrong, rather than hearing the instruction of Krishna. Right? So, this is how, this is a kind of fruitivity activity. It's not a fruitivity activity in the sense, from the external angle we may feel Arjuna was right. Why he has to fight with the relatives? Why there has to be so much blood loss or so much relatives who die? From the external angle, yes, that is right. But if that is not going to make Krishna happy, then that decision is wrong. Because any activities which we do out of our will to make ourselves happy is going to give us a result back, some kind of result back, and that is hidden, that is very subtle. What is that called as? It's a karmic reaction, right? So at any point of time, whenever we want to do something for ourselves, but not for the benefit of the Lord or for the ultimate, because He is the benefactor. If Krishna is happy with whatever activities we are doing, even though we may feel pain, but if Krishna is happy, then there is no reaction. There is no loss in that, and one has to do that. So basically, our whole life should be to follow the instruction of what Krishna wants. The whole Krishna consciousness is set because here we are here not to satisfy ourselves. Here we are to satisfy Krishna's senses. So when we satisfy Krishna's senses, automatically our senses gets or becomes happy, right? So this karmic reaction is something which really binds us to this material world. And Krishna till now, he is not talking about any of the modes of material nature because he tried different ways and means and to motivate Arjuna to fight the battlefield. He's giving, he's trying to explain in depth what is this body, what is this soul, how soul is permanent, body is temporary, and there will be change of body. So many things, and so many things Krishna is telling in the first 20 slokas. But somehow Arjuna is still not convinced, he is still not ready to fight. And this is the first time in 2.45 Krishna is going to talk about the three modes of material nature. Right? So what are the three modes of material nature? Because there is a material energy, and material energy works in three modes. That is the three modes of nature. And what are they? One is goodness, and then we have passion, and then we have ignorance. These are the three basic modes. At any point of time, no one is always in the mode of goodness, no one is always in the mode of passion, and no one is always in the mode of ignorance. It's always a mix. Sometimes you may see a person, he may see in the mode of goodness for a day, two, or maybe for a few hours, or maybe when he's coming to the temple, you see him in the mode of goodness. Maybe sometimes he suddenly can become very passionate, and most of the time we human beings are in ignorance. I'm not talking about devotees. Most of the general populace is always in the mode of ignorance, because they keep on, what they do is, it's a vicious cycle. They try to gamble. They try to gamble with life. When we get some happiness, when we get some, when we become morose or when we get some sadness, we always try to adjust our life. We try to adjust our life, and we see that, okay, if we adjust this life this way, I might get some happiness, right? And then you get some happiness. It's not that we don't get happiness. We get some happiness, but after some time it's followed by, sadness. Then again we come up with some new plan. We devise some new plan so that we again come out of this kind of life. Again we get some happiness. So always we try to gamble. When we actually if you see gambling, what is gambling all about? When you go to this gambling arena, if you go to US, there are so many big gambling. There are specific cities which are meant especially for gambling, like the Las Vegas. It is one of the big cities where so many gamblings happen. In gambling, what happens is, they devise in such a way that initially you will make a lot of profit. And what you get, when you start making profit, what you get is the greed. And when we get that greediness, or when we become greed, we think that, we can make more money. We put more money, then we get some happiness. We said, we put more money. We said, we put more efforts. Ultimately, we don't get much profit. We are into losses. But then we are so much into it, we are so much into that greed, we feel that, we put some more money, right now I am losing, but there are chances that I may win again. So it's a very vicious cycle. The same thing is, gambling of life. With life also we do the same thing. We follow our whims. We follow what we think is right or what we feel is correct. We devise some plan and we work on that. And over a period of time, life after life after life after life, we keep doing the same thing. Then some actions, then reactions. Then when we get some reactions, and then there's some actions again. So it's very vicious. Actions, reactions, actions. There is no end to this. There is no end to it. Practically, there is no end to so many lives have passed on. Then we take new body based on what desire we had in our previous life. When we leave the body, and we get some next life. At the time of death, what we think or whatever activities our body was functional based on, we get some new body. Then again we do the same repetitive cycle, and then we have to undergo birth, death, old age, disease. This is a vicious cycle. This keeps continuing, right? So here, what does Krishna wants Arjuna? He says that, he basically wants Arjuna. What he wants? He wants Arjuna to basically come out of the three modes of material nature. He says that trai-guṇya-viṣayā Veda. He wants Arjuna to transcend to these three modes of material nature. He wants to transcend. He wants to take. See, Vedas is not compiled, because basically Vedas is compiled by whom? It's compiled by Krishna, right? In chapter 15.15, Krishna says he is the one who has compiled these Vedas. He is the one. But one has to not just read Vedas, but one has to understand the purpose of the Vedas. The whole idea of Vedas is slow and very gradual, progressive path towards spiritual realization. So, you read Vedas, it's meant for the general population. If someone actually cannot immediately believe in the scriptures or immediately believe Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but somehow if he wants to have a gradual growth, Vedas, there are 4 kinds of Vedas. There are so many, Mahabharata, as said, Mahabharata is also part of the Vedas, right? Like Bhagavad Gita is one of the, Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata. So there are different scriptures. The whole idea of the scriptures is slowly but gradually elevating our consciousness to and align ourselves with that of the God's consciousness. That is the whole idea of Vedas. But Arjuna Krishna didn't wanted Arjuna to take that path. What did Krishna want? Krishna wanted Arjuna to take an elevator. So Krishna is saying that he wants Arjuna to transcend to the 3 modes of material nature. And what he wants by transcending to these 3 modes of material nature, what happens? When you you try to come out or try to overcome this material nature, which is not very easy. It's very easy to say that, but it's very difficult. But one who is trying to practice the process of Krishna consciousness, it becomes easy over a period of time. And when we try to transcendence, there are so many, there is nirdvandva. What is this nirdvandva? Is duality. This material world is full of duality, isn't it? So like happiness, sorrow, winter, summer, so many dualities are there. So one has to even transcend those dualities. And what one has to do? And one has to free himself from the ideas of gain and protection. And what ultimately one has to do? He has to focus on the self. When you focus on the self means what? One has to focus within. One has to focus. No, there are so many external things. This body is temporary. So any activities or any dualities, whatever you see in this material world is again temporary. Because till the time we have this body, we are going to have these dualities. We are going to have pain, sorrow, happiness, distress, so many things. Because it's all connected to the body. And Krishna wants Arjuna to overcome this. Because right now we can see Arjuna is in anxiety. He is morose. He doesn't want to fight because he feels that if he fights, then there will be so much loss of life, so much blood, and what is he going to do with all those things? So Arjuna is thinking his own way, but he is not trying to align his thinking with that of Krishna. But Krishna wants that he come out of this. He overcomes his modes of material nature and follows his instruction and fight with the enemies or with the Kauravas. So that's what the whole idea. It's like when you go very close to a mountain. When you go close to a mountain, what do you see in a mountain? You see big caves, you see waterfalls, you see big stones, you see bushes, so many things you see, right? But as soon as you go away from the mountain, from the distance, you just see mountain as very small in size, right? You don't see that big mountain. And because now the whole, what I'm trying to relate is, when you start focusing on the self within, all these dualities, all these challenges, all those things which are connected to the body will be automatically, you will automatically try to overcome that, because now you're trying to focus from the external to the internal. So that is what Krishna wanted Arjuna to do, and rather than thinking on the bodily platform. So basically, like if you see, we usually think it's like raga and dvesha, right? We usually, what we like, we do it, and what we don't like, we never focus on that, and that is what is actually binding us to this material world. This is what is binding, and this is a vicious cycle. It keeps, every time we want to perform something, we start thinking whether this is going to give me some benefit, this is going to give me some profit. But rather than focusing on that, one has to focus on the self, and one has to focus how to overcome these 3 modes of material nature. So basically, Vedas, what does Vedas deal with? Vedas basically deal with karma kanda, right? So generally as devotees also, sometimes we believe in this karma kanda. We believe. It's not that we totally don't believe in karma kanda. We also believe in karma kanda. We also feel that, I don't know, like when I was a child, we used to if you have some obstacles, go to Lord Ganesh. Or whenever you go for exams, okay, go here. If you want, girls especially, if they want a good wife, they will go to Lord Shiva, pray him. It's like we have set up different gods for different purposes, and we just go to the God whenever we actually need, when we need help, or when we want some kind of help, or we feel that right now we are in this situation where I want to overcome this sorrow. Then we go to a specific demigod, we try to worship him. These are all nothing but these are all karma kandas. And Vedas deal basically with karma kandas, okay? But ultimately, the whole purpose of the Vedas is to slowly elevate ourselves and to come to God consciousness. And when we say God consciousness, is Krishna consciousness. So Krishna is the compiler of Vedas, and Krishna knows what is there in Veda. So, and he's telling Arjuna that you come out of this and you become my pure devotee. So when we talk about Vedas, there are different kinds of Vedas. We will not go into that. But what is the whole purpose of Vedas? As I said, is to understand Krishna. And what is the best process for us to understand Krishna is the process of chanting, right? So when we chant the Maha Mantra, do we really need to know who is Krishna when we chant the Maha Mantra? To some extent, at least we should know, to some extent, but we don't have to read all the scriptures and then understand Krishna and then chant. Because sometimes you might realize, just think about someone new coming to the temple. This all depends upon our past karma. So a new visitor is coming to the temple and you ask him to chant Maha Mantra. But sometimes there are some visitors, they immediately accept the chanting process. They immediately chant. Especially when you go to Prabhupada Samadhi, when we do this chanting on the first floor, and I have seen that some people immediately they take up chanting. You don't have to convince them what is this chanting all about. They immediately start chanting. And Prabhupada says that because they have done all these karma kandas, all these rituals, they have done all these rituals in their past life. And that's why they are here. They come to this platform where they accept the holy name as the topmost yoga. They immediately accept. Otherwise, generally if you try to convince someone, don't do all this worship, don't do all those things, just chant the holy name, they don't believe in that. They say, no, this is not the right way. This is not the right way. No, they feel there is a different process. Chanting the holy name is not the right way. Mahaprabhu said that, Prakashananda Saraswati, he said, what kind of sannyasi you are? The whole day you are chanting and dancing, you are not reading scriptures, you are not doing that. He said, my Guru Maharaj said that I am fool number one. I don't know anything. That's why I keep chanting and dancing the whole day. Because he was, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing that. He had the taste of the holy name. But he was trying to set an example in the Kali Yuga that this is the only process. There is no, if you try to understand Vedas, if you try to be a Veda, it's very, very difficult. You cannot understand. So that is the best process is chanting the holy name of the Lord. So I'll just end here with one pastime in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. So Subhuti Rai, how many of you know the pastimes of Subhuti Rai? Subhuti Rai is like one of is in the Chaitanya Leela. There is one Subhuti Rai. He was like a big landlord, very wealthy person. So I'm just trying to emphasize the importance of the holy name. So he was a big landlord and he had a servant, and he was a young boy, he was a Muslim, and he was very loyal to him, and he was serving him very nicely, and he was also taking care of that boy as a father, and he was like a son. So sometimes he also used to chastise this Muslim boy. So one day he did some mistake. I exactly don't remember what was that, but he tried to whip him. He whipped him, and but he didn't feel bad. He accepted it because he was Subhuti Rai was like his father. And as Subhuti Rai got older, he gave up his position, and this boy, who is Syed Hussain Khan, he became a big king. Big king. He was a king, a very famous king. He got married, and his wife happened to see the mark of the whip which Subhuti Rai had on him, and his wife got very upset. Then Subhuti Rai, this boy, Syed Hussain Khan, explained the whole story, what happened, and like Subhuti Rai is like my father, I did some mistake, he whipped me, all those story he said. But she was not very happy. She said that you should punish him. And he said, no, I cannot punish him. He's like my father, how can I punish him? No, you should punish him. or maybe, and she said that if you don't punish him, I'm just leaving the house, something of that sort. So he has no option, but he has to listen to his wife. But no, at the same time, he doesn't want her to punish him directly. So he said, he said, okay, let me do one thing. In those days, the Hindus were very orthodox. Even if someone drinks a water from the pitcher of what a Muslim drank, and if he just tried to sprinkle that water on some person who is a Hindu, he was immediately outcasted. All right. So Syed Hussain Khan did the same thing. He tried to sprinkle. He sprinkled water on Subudhi Roy from the pitcher of the water which was drank by a Muslim, and all the Hindus, they outcasted him. He was thrown out of the society. Now he is outcasted. No, he doesn't know what to do. So he went to Varanasi. He met few Brahmanas. So one of the Brahmanas, he said, "Oh, I am been outcasted. I want to atone for it. I want to come back." So he said, "Okay, what is the solution?" So one of the Brahmans said, "The best solution is you boil the ghee to the maximum, and then you drink that ghee." He said, "How is that possible? I cannot drink the hot ghee because I will die." So he said, "This solution is not acceptable." So he said, no, this is the only solution. You drink hot ghee, you will die, and then in next birth you will become a Hindu again. So he said, "No, this is a stupid idea." He just dropped it. So he went to few more Brahmanas asking for solutions, but he didn't get any proper solutions. He was very dejected. He was very morose. He didn't know what to do. But luckily, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Varanasi at that time. He was in Varanasi and he happened to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he told all these problems to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the best solution is chanting the holy name. And he said, "Is it?" "Yes, you chant the holy name. So when you start chanting, that will purify you. But as you chant more and more, then you will start chanting offenseless chanting, and that will purify you more. And one fine day will come to a level where this dualities is not going to really affect you in any way, and you will come out of this platform." So he accepted it, and he said, okay. He advanced in that, and then he said, okay, now you go to Vrindavan, go and settle in Vrindavan, do bhajan there. And and then Subudhi Rai, he moved, he came to Vrindavan, he did bhajan, and he became a very big person, very saintly person. Right? So the whole idea of telling me this is, when Subudhi Rai went to different Brahmanas gave them different solutions. So these solutions were not fixed solutions. Different Brahmanas give different solutions based on karma. It's nothing but karma kanda. Do this, you'll get this. You'll do this, you do this. If you want to be elevated, do this. Different solutions come out of from different Brahmanas. So that is what is all this karma kandas are. So Vedas basically deal with karma kandas, but the whole idea is to elevate oneself to a higher platform. So this sloka basically 2.45. So in a nutshell, what does this sloka tell us? That there are these three modes of material nature. Vedas talks about these three modes of material nature, and Vedas is not here to reject God consciousness. It is there for general population to understand the different modes of nature, what are the different rituals, and when you perform these different rituals, when you what is good, what is bad, so many things are there in Vedas. The whole idea is the sloka is saying one has to come out of these three modes of material nature and transcendent to this. We have to transcend and come out of this material three modes of material nature and focus. Rather than focusing on the externals, one has to focus on the self. So and try to take up the Krishna consciousness, and so that as Arjuna immediately was able, after Krishna's instruction, Arjuna was ready to fight. Arjuna didn't become bad after Krishna's instruction. Some people, one might feel, oh, Arjuna was not ready to fight, but just because he heard from Krishna, he fought. And then he killed so many people. So was it right? But yes, it was right, because that is what Krishna wanted. So we have to align our thoughts, our actions with Krishna, what Krishna wants, so that we don't get into this repetitive cycle of birth, death, old age, disease, because then otherwise for every action there is reaction. But when we start working for the pleasure of the Lord, to satisfy His senses, then whatever we do will not yield us a good result or a bad result. Otherwise, we have to come back again to enjoy the fruits. So that is what, in summary, this sloka 2.45 is all about. Okay? So anyone has any question, any comments, we can take up. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I was thinking, as you said before, you also mentioned that it is very difficult to come even to the mode of goodness stage.
Right.
What to speak of transcendence. So, can you share some thoughts on that?
See, that's what I said. It's very easy to sit here or give a lecture and say, and everyone feels, oh yeah, it's so nice. But practically, it's not possible. There is a lot of challenge, but it's not that it's not possible. One has to. That is why association of devotees, the scriptures. One has to hear. One has to hear. See, action is only possible when we know that. See, how do we correct ourselves? We can correct ourselves only when we know that what we are doing is right or wrong. So otherwise, we are just in this vicious cycle. We feel, oh, what we are doing is right, and then we get some good karma. And when we do something bad, we get bad karma, and then we keep, in this vicious cycle. We just move around this. We don't try to come out. So when we talk about, transcending all these different modes of nature and mode of goodness, first of all, to come to mode of goodness itself is difficult, and it's practically not possible. But as we make progress, as it's like Chaito Darpana Arjuna, we have to clean the dust, and this is a gradual process. It's not that it's like overnight. I chant today, tomorrow I'm in mode of goodness. No, it's a mix of everything. It's like, I would say, when we mix all these three modes and put it in a bag and just shuffle it, you don't know what is goodness, what is passion, what is ignorance. And a person is not always in the mode of goodness or mode of passion or ignorance. He exhibits this based on time, place, circumstances. Sometimes you yourself will feel that I'm in mode of goodness, especially when you are doing any of the spiritual activity, or when you're in association of devotees, or when you come to the temple. That is why Prabhupada said that one has to do all these morning sadhanas. One has to come, pay their obeisance to the deities, come for the morning program, come for Guru Puja, hear. So when we hear what is good, what is bad, and what is beyond this, then we try to go beyond that. Otherwise, generally what people do, they feel, opening up a big hospital or a big school or doing some kind of charity, that will bring in mode of goodness. But to some extent it can bring you in mode of goodness. But still, mode of goodness, it's like, if you are a pilot and you learned how to take off a plane, but in the initial days, if you're just on the ground, it's not, your license will be revoked. What is a pilot? Pilot is, he has to take off the plane. Otherwise, if you don't take off the plane, what is the use of giving you a pilot a license? So similarly, the mode of goodness, one has to come to the mode of goodness. But if you try to become a Vaishnava, or you try to follow, especially what Prabhupada has given us, so you automatically, that's what I said, that one who is chanting is already surpassed all those things. He doesn't have to do any of these rituals what others follow in the outside world. You don't have to do all those rituals. You won't have to, sometimes you even don't have to look, all this astrological chart one has to see. It's not meant for devotees. Why a devotee has to look into all this astrological chart? It is not meant for that. It's not meant for us. It's meant for the outside. But I'm talking about pure devotees. We may not be pure devotees. We are trying to become pure devotees. So in that path, yes, sometimes we go out of the way and we see this, that. We may go and refer to an astrological chart, or we may do some karma kanda. But ultimately, we'll have to come out of this. And mode of goodness is included when we try to, go beyond that. So mode of goodness, we don't have to focus. It will come automatically when we do offenseless chanting, or when you get into the process. Any other question?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again, he said that Vedana Janiya Bodha Haino Nasti. The Buddhists, he said, are Gnostics, atheists, because they don't, Buddha said, ignore the Vedas. Just ahimsa, and he gave the 8 tenets. So therefore, because they didn't study the Vedas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said they are atheists.
Hmm.
for us. So we also in Krishna consciousness, we just study few literature out of the Vedic literature. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita,
Right.
devotion like this. And those are all transcendental,
Yes.
at that level. So we don't have the knowledge of most of the
Yes.
Vedic literature as well.
Right. So even Vedavyas, after compiling all the Vedas, he was not happy. And his guru, Narad Muni, could immediately identify or could see Vedavyas was not very happy. And he said, yeah, then he compiled Srimad Bhagavatam because that is about Krishna. So when you try to speak about Krishna, or then there is no end to it, and you automatically get, your senses get pleased. And Narad Muni could see that, because otherwise Vedavyas said, oh, I compiled so many Vedas, but what is making me so morose? I'm still not happy. And Narad Muni said, now you compile Srimad Bhagavatam. Then he compiled Srimad Bhagavatam, and then he could get the transcendental happiness. So, as you said, right, we actually don't read all these Vedas. We don't go to Riga Veda, Athura Veda, Sama Veda. We don't read all those things, and it basically not required also. We don't have to go read all these Vedas. Yes, if you want to read for your understanding, it's a different thing. But we have an elevator. You chant and be happy. Prabhupada said, you chant and be happy. Come for the program, attend all the programs, see the wonderful deities, and take prasad. You dance, and then you be happy, and that is what is all about. That's what I said. This is the ultimate realization. So we are already doing that. It's just that we have to polish it, and we have to focus on our chanting and do offenseless chanting. So when we start doing this, you will see the effect. So sometimes chanting also is very monotonous. It's kind of every day we are chanting, but we are not actually into it. We are not actually trying to understand the self, but we are just trying. It's very mechanical chanting. So rather than doing a mechanical chanting, one has to start understanding here. Prabhupada said the chanting is what it's all about. You chant and you hear, and then slowly this dust which is accumulated over a period of time, you start cleaning it, and then you will see things as it is, and then you will come to know this whole process. So it's a slow and gradual process, but it's 100% guarantee. Prabhupada said that all those who are chanting today, tomorrow, and in the future, they are all going back to God. Just time is what is separating us. But if we follow this process, we have to follow this process strictly. Anything else? Okay, we'll stop here. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.